Sonji Chudo Tsoje Chona La Dane Shasan Chu Dagi Shasa Jibi Sanach Lola Pensha Sonji Dropa Shu Sonji Chudo Tsoje Chona La Shonjab Dagi Shasa Jibi Sanach Lola Penja Sonji Dropa Shu Sonji Chudo Tsoji Chona La Shonja Pad Lola Penja Sonji Dropa Shu Senji Tonji Dewa Ton Devi Jatan Denpa Dunga ki jatan trawa chichi Dunga mepi dewa tamba doma trawa chichi Nyere chadan nyedon travi tonyan chenpo Chochi paden tsaye lama rambo chen Dagi shiwa pem Ni jizan te kasan tuji ngudra zado so. Oh yeah, someone Shoba some just delicious.
Good morning, everybody.
Today, that kazong also kazong Kenyan po, nima ni kring la. Today, karsek. Today jadihi nimbo. Temmalurenche. Jen gevi kinya kola. Sheyores.
So, the last 2 days we talked about the 3 first points, the 3 first chapters of the Precious Ornament of Liberation, so 3 and 6. So we saw the first point, which is the cause, the Buddha nature. We saw the second point, the support, which is the precious human existence, our precious human body. And thirdly, we saw the condition, which is the virtuous friend.
Ta gevi kinya de ta danga maka sheyores.
Et donc aujourd'hui, nous allons...
So today we will go on and we will see the fourth main point, which is about instructions, methods. The methods of the instruction of the virtuous friend.
Ta di danga she se onde. Ta danga se nan do tsu duwa na. Tene nga tsu kujala le ton nyo momba la teni nyo momba ton de la teni shumi kyo danga mombo chere. Deso ani paka deso ku nyembo deso meba shiri kyo. Ani lamchi ma hede yores.
So the thing is that we experience, because of our actions, our negative actions, our negative thoughts, we experience a lot of suffering. And those methods that are explained here will be an antidote to that suffering. So here that points up the instructions to suffering.
Chupe mambo chi sun yore. De sun ya kangati chukun damjawa na. Do du na. Tani dengha jatong dengha me pasyawa chet sun yores. Dengha ke jo ligne tani dira teni shume kyo dunga teso meba shewi cheta son yores.
De manière générale,
So, in a general way, all Buddha teaching are aimed to help us to get rid of suffering and afflictions. They are tools to help us to get rid of the cause of suffering, which is karma and afflictions.
Dunga tong, dunga ke je le to nyo moma sin he de yati, ta tsawa te maripa sim chade yores.
si on,
So, if we had to define the root of suffering, if we had to say what is the root of suffering, and the root of all suffering, actions, and disturbing emotion, that root is ignorance, the fact of not knowing, or knowing in the wrong way.
So jala yo tsapi shuju la, tani tela teni, tani nyoda mambuchi yongu yores.
And because of that ignorance, of that non-knowing, there are lots of problems arising.
Maripa yo tsadu, pena, kansekr, mi chenpo yora, mi tok chenpo, ani mi panjo chenpo, mi chenpo teso ki, ani mi chunchu teso, kange kare yabate, shira ne hako yu mares. Mi chunchu teso, kange te hako yu mares.
les mitop chenpo de
Mi
Tsogi,
chia teso, mi panjo chenpo, tani mi tod kosa chenpo yora, teso ki, mi pe chunchu jo teso, kange te shira hako yu mares.
So in general, so as we said, the root of everything is ignorance, not knowing. For example, high people, the people who have great power, don't know very much the sufferings and the hardships of the like lower or more humble people, right? They don't understand their difficulties and all.
de plus humbles conditions.
Teni pena mi zipu tambo healthy yapu yanki teso ki mi nepi ka mi nepa ti kange kare yinbate yapu hako yimares.
Et de la,
And in the same way, someone who is in a very good health doesn't understand the suffering of someone who is sick, who has health problems.
Teni ta ngazo tsoma nruwa mi insa bishiju la teni ngazo ki mi mayin pi pena tundru senchen, tundru yoro, tundru teso kange te hako yimares.
et par exemple,
And in the same way, here we are humans, right? And we don't realize the suffering of animals, of the beings who are not humans. We don't realize that.
Iti hamako wala teni yamba teso kange karen chegyo na teso la tono shira shegi yomares.
And because we don't know or we don't understand the suffering of other beings, we don't give it much attention. We don't pay much attention to that.
on n'y porte pas trop attention. On ne s'intéresse pas trop à la souffrance des autres êtres.
Ta ngazo tono cheshu te kare shegi yoresena. Ta soso rong shegi yores.
And where do we put the most intention is ourselves. Actually, we mainly focus on ourselves. We are more preoccupied by ourselves.
Dunga chenpo yena ta mayo na tene sana tena yindi yin. Dunga chunju chi yena yo ta ngala mayo na tene sana tong yores.
Nous sommes,
We are very much preoccupied by ourselves. And we always hope that we won't suffer, that we won't need to go through hardship. And as soon as a small suffering appears, we just hope it will disappear.
지디 다 소소 대화 들었어. 대화. 다 대화 첨부 지연아 따때 나라 토나 되니 인디인 등 대화 첨부 연아 대대 나라 토나 된바 인디인스 등아 춘춘 지나요 소소 토야는 배소시 이래서
Également,
And also, we are mostly preoccupied. We are mostly preoccupied on the research or the seeking of happiness. Mostly, we try to get happiness. Of course, we try to get a big happiness, big satisfaction. But also, we are running after small happiness.
단 문내시나 근데 센첸 소마들이 차대르스 센첸 미이나리 미마인 바던도 센첸이나리 소마들이 차대르스
et
So actually, this is the case for all sentient beings. It's the case for humans, for non-humans, animals, and all.
제가 던디 차대르데 이나요 근데 나론소가 소소마도 예라 도노데 시라 시기 말았어
So therefore, we are mostly focused on ourselves. The beings are focused on themselves rather than on others.
야나요 잠블인디 노라 미몸부 쇼질 강연체야 미몸부 찔라 강연체데 그랬어 베남 데렌다오 찌부 차기는 잠블인디 노라 데니치 젠라미 고네 미몸부 통기 그랬어 미 마인 빠던로 몸부 통기 그랬어 제가 정신의 시도와 데린 베나 데린 찌부 차기는 잠블인디 노라 tani kangi chen namba chen manda mombo chi la teni mi mombo chi chongdo geres pena kashi chi mota gadi accident chaya kashi montu la soba treni montu mojirishin wa jirishin tani tati pena trinchi bo chaga na tani mombo chagi geres tendro senchen to soyota mombo kangi mombo tegures derenchi bo chagana
So if we look only today, if we look only at today's day, so many beings have met difficult conditions. Many died, like in a car accident, in the war. If we look only at today, how many beings have got suffering and difficult conditions? So many difficulties.
beaucoup de gens vont mourir. Et il faut se rendre compte que juste durant cette journée, juste aujourd'hui, eh bien, il va y avoir beaucoup de difficultés qui vont être rencontrées par les êtres. Et ça, c'est le cas pour les humains, mais également pour les non-humains, comme pour les animaux, par exemple.
제가 tendri kangi mombo chi tegurete ngazo shira dono chenbo segiyo mares
And they meet a lot of suffering, but actually we don't pay much attention to that. We don't pay attention to other sentient beings' difficulties. We are not interested by that.
니 다테 sana yapo chitaonde kala ngone toneta yenj kangi senare yenj choala ngazo sano shira matongare doas solo thinking mombo majiyo
En général,
So in general, if we think and examine our day, we don't think much about that.
ngazo tendri shen tenyo maripa semtela teni yonde yores
And that defect comes because of ignorance, on the basis of ignorance.
difficultés et les souffrances des êtres, eh bien tout cela, ce défaut-là prend appui sur l'ignorance. C'est sur la base de l'ignorance que l'on ignore les difficultés et les souffrances des êtres.
teni te yanda ta maripa tela teni teni de cha hedon control ngajat so yong yores
And on the basis of that ignorance, we will experience lots of afflictions like desire, attachment, hatred, anger, aversion, pride.
로타오 차야나 콘로타오 차야나스 시동 가서 가르세크 맞을 그 미연라 파스 미나 던루이나 시나 미연라 네바시나 잔 리기여 말레스 다 예나요 가시 미연라 네바시 시나용스 되네 소소라 저거 네바시 강에 땡게되나 데츠 리기여 말았어 그반다로 왔어 그바스나 하고 포리쇼 손으로 왔어
Si on prend juste l'exemple,
So if we take only the example of anger, when we have anger, we will harm others, whether it's humans or animals. But on top of that, we will harm ourselves, and that is a mistake.
컨트롤 되게 미 연라 내가 셔바나 인디스 소소라고 내가 베시기도 와서 소소소라죠
So of course, anger is harming others, of course, but it's also harming ourselves.
제자 대인들까라 되니 베나 컨트롤 세로 컨트롤 된다 휴침부 지연나 되니 그런 거 예틀이 연기 그 밑에서요 마데바시기도 왔어 시보미 바시기도 왔어 소소요 마데바라 레도 왔어
And on top of that, if we have anger, a negative effect is that it's also affecting others around us. It's also making them feel bad if we are angry. So we are feeling bad and others are also feeling bad.
맞아 대시기도 왔어 되니 미츠마 니 말을 동바트야 들루야 북한야 니 제모존에 용기여레스 이나 컨트롤 여차비 시줄라 네 같이 소소 니 제모 시나요 컨트롤 여차데 니 제모 차기야 말았다
So we are taking care of ourselves, our body. We try to make ourselves beautiful, looking good. We wash our face. And however, if we have anger, however effort we try to put to get beautiful, we won't get beautiful actually. We won't look beautiful.
스페나 셈바페 혀와 비스 야포예 비칼라 되니 나주 주보노라 룬야폰 로그스라기레스 룬 같이 야폰 로기여나 아니 차다서 야폰 로기레스라기레스 되니 차 야폰 로나 아니 동바 샤다서 참마데 야포차 아니 니제모 차기레스라기레스
Usually we say that if our mind is peaceful, our the energy channels will circulate well in our body. And if those circulate well, we will have a good blood circulation. If we have a good blood circulation, then we will have a good looking face. We will look good.
레차데 셈바데 비스 차기야 말에 데 마차세 데라테네 룬야폰만도 룬야폰만도 온데 가서 차야폰 고지 뭐지 차야폰만도 온데 되니 동바타서 처만 저완도네 아니 니제 오면 차도 그랬어
So when we get anger, it will be the opposite. Because of anger, mind won't be peaceful. The mind not being peaceful, the energy channels won't circulate properly in our body. Then our blood won't circulate properly, and because of that, our face won't look so good. We will see it on our face.
저동 니제오 차다 마차데나 단답에 춘주레스 단답에 춘주
So here we talk about small things. It's not that maybe.
차비슈줄라 단다 체사 가르시는 그랬으나 컨트롤레발라 때니 되니 가서 저라 게바트 자메당 요레스 게바메 파시 요레스
But
발라 때니 되니 송지 컴포터야라 바치시야 컨트롤 셰발라 때니 되니 지 mgewa ndamanda sheni nyawa ngesong la sopa shia tadi nyenkashi yores.
Et donc,
So this is a small thing, but actually the main defect of anger is that it will suppress the root of virtue. It will suppress the root of virtue, and because of that it will be an obstacle for enlightenment, and it may bring us to lower realms such as hell as well. Because of anger, we will accomplish many negative actions, and those actions will result in lower rebirth, like hell.
Tani ta te yanda ani mari pala teni tani de cha semte nga zo yong yores.
et,
Because of ignorance, we will develop affliction. So, first of all, we will develop desire, attachment.
Tena de cha se ati ta nga zo yobo ku yores yobo de cha yobo.
So, because of ignorance, desire attachment appears. And what is it? It enslaves us. We become the slaves of desire attachment.
attachement.
Tani de cha yobo cha tsapi teni zunte tani kangin che tsares.
Et à partir du moment
And from that very point, when we become the slave of desire attachment, then all problems start.
Se te nga la chi gu du se ati res.
What we call desire attachment is that I need this, I need that.
Ani nga la mota zubu chi gu du se na ta nga zo te mota te raya chetla nga zo yobo ndo yares. Kali jin likashi yares.
Desire attachment means, for example, you will think, oh, I want a car, I need a car. And because of that, you will go through so much hardship and you will do whatever you can to get that car. So you are enslaved by that desire that is driving you to obtain what you want.
Yanda ta de cha nga la combat zibu chi gu du se na ta nga zo combat zibu te chetla on kali ji yares. Kali jin.
par exemple, légalement,
And it's the same, it can be for a house. Because of desire attachment, you will go through so much hardship to get the house.
Yatsa mota zibu raya combat zibu raya te pe kali khauras. Kali mambu jegrawas.
And we will go through so much hardship to obtain the car or the beautiful house. We will do whatever we can.
Yatsa ta tandri kali jeni rana yabores. Marana kange tegeres ta tetsares. De cha gu se ger nga zo ra ye ma parut na kange tegeres. De cha ji mota zibu do combat zibu khshula yere. Nga zu mi ne pa kali je on marasa na paru kange tetsares. Di pate na kange tegeres.
et
So if we obtain them, if we finally get to obtain them, it's good. But in the meanwhile, it will be hard. We have to go through hardship.
Tani shitong nga zu jiten pa se ati kho ani shibu se ati do dubu se ati sosu ko ndapa chora sosu ko ndapa te tona rana shibu sosu ko ndapa nongi ji machana ani dunga shigi yores.
So for us as worldly beings, we will be happy when our wish is fulfilled, and we will be unhappy when our wish is not fulfilled, right?
소소라 토야도 디 농기 차나 니가 시본데스 소소 근데바 농기 토그게나 마토 대 차로 맞이나 강에 체기랬어 누가 체기랬어.
ok. Donc, de manière générale, pour les êtres, si les choses, quelque part, vont dans le sens de ce que l'on désire,
So he's just repeating the same, because the translator didn't get it. So if you obtain what you want, you will be happy. If you don't obtain what you want, you will be unhappy.
제상테 인데까라 가색을. 되니 소소건 내바 농이지. 때 만리 온데 깔라 다 되니 가색을. 가래 시나요 15면 되어res. 내가 가래 시나요 15면 봐. 소소 내바 농이지 마차 온데. 되니 내가 가래 시나요 아니 15면 봐서 되어res. semba 되어시.
And when things don't go to the right way, to the desired way, then whatever happens, we're not happy. If it doesn't go to the desired way, whatever happens, it's not enough, it's not good enough, we are not happy.
pena tendewa ngaso concept football doa pena football tsemu tsenke tan teson keda chembo momondeo konso messi sonda te konso football tseala daba yere te tsena 15 yere es konso ta koron daba no yi chas de 15 yere es.
For example, if we take the example of football players, many are very famous nowadays, like Messi. So actually, they do what they like, and they do what they love, and because of that, they are happy, right?
nga ina ta football tsea kho daba yamares ta yinji minji nga ngi football tsena nga donga show yeres kali show yeres.
And for example, I don't want to play football myself. I have no wish to play football. And if someone asked me to play football, I wouldn't be happy.
제가 football 코로나 아니 제나 15예나 뭐처만 15예 그러왔어. 레몬드 왔어. 그 제야 내가 연계지 제나 15쳐야. 내가 menken지 제나 15매바 차는 거 왔어.
So you can see it depends on the desire. Those who want to play football are happy when they can play football, but those who don't want to play football won't be happy if they have to play football. So it depends on one's desire.
ngaronso 아니 미세아티가 근데 니 내바티 라선한테 nga시 본디 되되게 그랬어.
Et donc,
So all the sentient beings are in the same way. If they get what they desire, they will be happy. And they will think, will I get that?
빠옴 내쳐 세야티 디코 체에 말했다. 체.
et
And the thing, the problem with desire is that there is no limit to that. There is no dimension, no limit.
l'inconvénient de nos désirs ou de ce que l'on désire, c'est que cela n'a pas de limite.
pena karasek depa seati kanri gugitsena pena 참상가 하고도 왔어 pena 참상 저런 술은 로얀 데바 여나 근데 잡았던 건데 왔어 잡았던 건데 술은 로트면 돼 여보 근데 로마터 온데 깔라 저런 로야 술은 로얀 데바 차와 마동야 데바 여레스 이는 차왔던 온데 깔라 다 저런 데바데 만들어 온데 저런 나시를 쪼롱다 나시 때 늦어졌어.
So sometimes we can take another example. Sometimes you may want to go outside for a walk or something, and suddenly rain starts to fall. And that time your wish is to get outside and to go for a walk. But the weather is not good, and that time you will get kind of angry and you will say, oh, weather is so bad.
데바 소순 롱 데바 진저와 동야 선어마 동아시 실루 진저와 동야 젠시야 선어 휴전부 동요레스.
So therefore here we can see that our mind is focused on the outside, on changing the outside. What makes more sense? Can we change outside reality or inside reality?
실루 진저와 쫑쫑 동구나 근데 가서 동타고 말했잖아.
Because if you think you have to only change the external, the outside reality, actually it won't work.
이런 질 진저와 동나요 손이 지 동그래 손이 지 동네 디지마 뒤서 걸어야 말 진저와 동야 뒤서 말했어. 실루 진저와 동구나 실루 판 진저와 동구나 똥코는 타야요 말했어. 저와 똥야 몸보랬어.
Jimpata.
저와 젠치야 빼 몸보랬어. 소선 저와 마똥나 가시 젠치 맞았나? 너바트 젠치 맞았나? 실루파 좀 젠치거나 젠치 타야요 말했어.
J'ai tout bien malaise.
턱 말했어. 빼 몸보라. 대린 젠치 지시나 요 손이 지시에 그래. 디지마 지시에 그래. 젠치 타야요 말했어.
And it actually doesn't make sense to try to change the outside, because what we will do today through changing the outside will be to be done again tomorrow, because it will change, and the day after tomorrow, and all is endless. We can't actually change the outside. And it's like tiring and seem endless.
Marcher.
제장 히발라요. 히발라 까까레 노르세나. 페나 디 답변은 잠블인디스 가서다 대사 고이 된다치라. 세모 존조 세마
Celle-là.
세마 존조 레디요나. 다티 콤바오니야 수그라와. 데 마즈웨 체들라. 데 사초만데라. 고아 까브라. 깨그나. 깨탁 말해라 이랬어.
It's like there is a saying of Shantideva on that subject. He says, trying to change outside reality would be like trying to put leather on the whole earth surface. And that time, the whole earth will be full of thorn, and that time we will try to put leather on it. It doesn't work.
콤바트 고아야 보지 요나 리차르라 이랬어.
Mais le mieux,
However, the best is to not try to put leather everywhere. Just put leather on your own shoes.
빼티 농이 실루파 존존 저와 똥거나 똥타야요 말했어. 저와 똥나 다가랑 리차르스.
So, according to that example, if you always try to change the outside, it won't work. The best you can do is try to change from the inside, from yourself. Then it will be great.
디 노능이 단계 휴안노 가서 ndpa세야테 세 리미트요 말했어.
et
So, as I was saying, there is no limit to our desire.
가서 ndpa ndcha티가 데리 모자 가디니 커스는 가서 까나오소나. 근데 가디니데 라금 녀야가 빼샤요 말했어 가서. 다 매운데 다시 야슈 가르스나. 가다 가디니 녀네 가르세 남치레 지금 되게 되었네. 진짜 리차르스 가디니 녀야 스강에테 세차르스.
il faut savoir faire preuve de
So, we need to learn to be satisfied. For example, we may want to have 2 cars, but if you're alone, 1 car is enough. And if you abandon that idea of getting a second car, then you will have less disturbing in your mind.
ndpa lawa 농기 신 ndepik jisma mandrowa시. ndpa 가서 ndpa jis flow 마제와시. ndpa 코론 저와 똥야테 백케친 보여랬어.
So that's the reason why it's necessary to not follow desire attachment, but try to transform it, to change it. Try to change your way of seeing things.
선테인데 딱 이 단계 컨디션노요. 컨트롤도 ndchatasола. tin jwa tong 그랬어야티. jwa 가세 똥나. 가세 jwa 똥나. 페나 jwa 똥딱 드니르다. 단계 컨트롤 ndcha 디 시험 뭐 친도와. 디 시험 뭐 때라. 니 산라 똥니. 디 콘. 컨트롤도 ndcha타오 디기 디파 past 디칼라 ngala shen de shiso
Des
Data-
des pas past.
past ya
Ki wang
o
ngadi.
shewa mata tse karina data la ne pa shi ta ya ga na maon pa la yon ne pa shi sa re ten ten sana tong kres
Des n'imons pas de tsogi.
o yama pa pen
Ne pas de son.
o exemple control de chat out
Il nous faut réfléchir à tout.
So we have to reflect on all those disturbing emotions. We have to reflect on how much they harmed us in the past, how much anger, how much desire harmed us in the past, how it's harming us right now. And if we go on this way, how much it will harm us in the future as well.
Chetson, ta tendri sana tong ni ti ni pa tong du ti ni pa ti ni pa se na ye mo pa tong ye pe na control tong de chak ni pa ti sana tong ni ha ko so na ni pon to yore se ko
Therefore, if we can understand how bad or how harmful are disturbing emotion, we will be able to abandon them.
pe na de cha ta o control ta o ti chi po pon na ko ni ka la pen to yore se ina za wa te mari pa sem te me pa she ma ta na ni ka control don de cha ta sa pa me pa shi na yo yong ja le yore se
And if you're able to not temporary, but if you're able to abandon desire attachment, maybe temporary, it will be useful, there will be a benefit. However, if you really want to get rid of them, you need to get rid of ignorance. You need to suppress ignorance itself because it's the root.
za wa de za wa de ya kan pen ta ga na
À la
그
suite.
자와만 여도 용자 자식 되었어. 뒤농이 시니 컨트롤동 드니 ndachatos 니가 뻔나요. 자와 말이 빠트 메바 마지나 용자 시도 그랬어.
C'est comme
It's like trees or plants. If you don't cut the root, they will grow up again. So it's the same thing with desire, anger. If you don't cut the very root, that is ignorance, they will grow up again and come back.
même si on abandonne temporairement des émotions perturbatrices comme le désir attachement ou la colère, eh bien, si on n'enlève pas la racine qui est l'ignorance, ces émotions perturbatrices vont réapparaître de nouveau.
제자 따티 따다 제나바스 티콜 사나야 사나 տона 야보여레스 따드리
Et si vous réfléchissez à cela, eh bien, cela
So now if you can think about that, it's good.
드니 당가서 강에 때 최초 강에서 다당가서 다 해야 쪼러 때 가정 대신님보 이제 대바히 빈님보 드니 때말 근데 때말을 전체 쟁기위히니 해임바스 근데 쟁기위히니선 드니 gewi히니 세야데 가정의 공도 휴임바 키파 점바 zomba kitsan zonson yenten tsonson jiga ta gewihinye sen ma zo labi res.
Donc, nous avons vu ces 3 derniers jours les 3 premiers points. Et j'aimerais faire une remarque sur le 3e point, sur l'ami de bien. J'ai oublié de le définir. Un ami de bien, lorsqu'on parle d'un ami de bien dans le 3e point, dans le 3e chapitre de ce traité, eh bien, il s'agit d'un ami de bien qui possède 3 qualités. Il s'agit de la première qualité, il s'agit d'être un pandit, c'est-à-dire de connaître parfaitement les phénomènes, les enseignements, etc. La deuxième qualité, c'est d'avoir une attitude, une bonne attitude, une attitude vénérable du corps et de la parole. Et la troisième qualité, eh bien, c'est d'avoir cet état d'esprit excellent, cette intention d'aider les êtres. Et c'est ça qu'on entend ici par le Gywe Shinyen, par l'ami de bien.
Teni kitsa zonson siden kipa seyate karere seyande londur hipa lonja kare yemba doja kare yemba 다 대용 송지 송지 공부 토와라 근데 맞아 파 뽕거야 가려임바 저 랭거야 가려임바 대대 싸우사 좀 하kon게 된다올라 근데 디카사 론도라 히바 키파르셀라 이어레스 마토 아니 시엠바 가르세크 모타조 히미히 나운드조 히미히 대던데와시라 야마레스
C'est ça. La première qualité.
So that a virtuous friend needs to have a great knowledge. He has to know very well what is to be adopted and what is to be rejected. He needs to know what we have to practice in order to get enlightenment and to go on the path. He needs to, that a virtuous friend needs to be a pandit, right? And a pandit who knows what is to be adopted or rejected in order to gain Buddhahood. It's not so much about knowing which car is to be bought or not.
Dhagpo Targyen rononi hede gyores. Tsambaseati tani luch magewa, ngak magewa, deso majekhen. Deso dik doshu gewika, luch gewa, ngak gewa, tsigyanda nyamsalende ke dendro childade gyores.
La deuxième qualité.
And the second quality that virtuous friend has to be venerable means someone who knows very well how to behave with his speech and body. He will only accomplish virtuous actions with his body and speech.
Jigme pa sonwa yansam. Tani gewikhinye tela, rong kloma la, pensen yanke, senchen tamche la, penbik samba yanke yoba. Ma zomba chika gyores.
Ces deux premières qualités ne sont pas suffisantes. Il faut la
And these first two qualities are not enough, actually. We really need to, that a virtuous friend really needs to gather the three qualities. And the third quality is to really have the wish of helping others, helping mind. Someone who has that quality.
Di ta danga simta te gyores tri.
je sais pas des.
Ikibato.
Et là, maintenant, donc, nous sommes dans l'étude du cadre.
So now we come to the fourth point, which is called methods and instructions of the virtuous friend.
Te karersina ta ngazo ngoni ma chongka je kres. Pena konza ngazo soso chiyo tao chi tani sonji chi kompo toba la tani jado chen gure sene tani kare jado chen kondo kon re sene tani jadde dewar shepin himbo sumbares. Ti jad dewa shepin himbo yapa tsamchi goni ani sonji thagre vesna ji thagmare ten Khenpo Rinpoche semte gugre sunyores de shidan nimbatres. Tani jad dewa shepin himbo tong chen gewi de ten Khenpo Rinpoche niti yapa tsamchi goni sonji kompo drthagre vesna drthagmare chen gewi hine gare sen sunyores. Ta tesan yapa tsamji sen sonji kompo drthagre sna deyon kali kabore tani gewi hine di tap dangat so gure sen ta dangat hi gures.
So here in the fourth part, so we will talk about the instructions or methods. So those are necessary in order to obtain Buddhahood. That's the fourth point. So if you have Buddha nature, is it enough to have the cause which is Buddha nature? No, you also need the precious human existence. If you have the precious human existence, is it enough to obtain Buddhahood? No, you also need the virtuous friend. If you have the virtuous friend, is it enough to obtain Buddhahood? No, still you need to apply the methods. So here, this is why comes the fourth point. So everything is for the goal of enlightenment, of gaining Buddhahood.
C'est le quatrième point général.
Chesan te yundita jade hin himbo ten Khenpo Rinpoche chen gewi hine teso yapa tsangje sonji mata pa tani nga tsola ta kare bache kare yore se onde 바체 넘버 여 생각 해요레스 거죠.
So in that part of the methods, we see that even though we have the cause, the Buddha nature, and other good conditions, there are actually four kind of obstacles on our way. In order to get rid of those four obstacles, that part was written.
가르레스나 나조 첸데 이거 드니지 농도죠 시 셔동 롱 마인 바도 롱 처마 아니 따바 인사리 냠비코 로도 쉔던데 요레스 다 디쉔 세위 쳇들라 드니 마따바 세니 레우지 선요레스 따바타진
Donc, pour remédier à...
So, in order to remedy to four obstacles, that method part chapters are taught. So the first obstacle is a wrong view that ourselves and the outside world is permanent. There is this wrong view, and because of that grasping on things being permanent, that antidote was taught. Antidote to attachment to this life, as an antidote to attachment to this life, impermanence is taught. So the chapter 4 is impermanence.
다다 다보 타진은 레오 온더 시거나 레오 온더 시거나 주유 디 노는 노세 숑체센 야 클라그야 팽된다 레오니 도 드나 타티 당아세 티노라 레오 쭈드르 없이 용거여레스 레오 쭈드 16
Kandeina.
타티 당아세 친데와 데 이에기요 데라 테니 디 노세 막 레오 쭈드히레스 쭈드
So in that chapter on the methods, we have 16. In that part on the methods, there are 16 chapters.
휘에 온데 데 레오 tombo 데 아니 마타파 심티에레스
Et parmi...
So among the 16 chapters, the first one is on impermanence. And it will be an antidote to attachment to this life, thinking that things are permanent and exist forever.
맞아 담몽보레스 마타파세야데 마타파세야데 빼 개침보레스 마타파 하고야데 네 건벌르드요 건벌르드 가르스나 마타 시와 히피 지파히 마타히 마타 냐라 주히나 담비추죠 또반저러 센트는 소요레스 마타파 히나 다 담비추스는 근데 대 학원도 그랬어.
Il y a beaucoup d'enseignements sur l'impermanence. C'est un sujet qui est vraiment très important. Naga...
So there are many teachings on impermanence. It's a very important subject. Nagarjuna says the following things. If we understand impermanence, then we will understand distraction. If we understand distraction, we will understand impermanence. And if we understand impermanence, we will understand the Dharma.
빠셈데 마히나 다당가서 취탄지 다음에 바래 똥바녀레셈데 히야 고가에서 말했어.
En effet, la compréhension de l'impermanence est très importante.
Actually, indeed, understanding impermanence is very important. If we don't understand it, we can't understand emptiness, the absence of self of phenomena.
하거나 다니 가서 빼나 취셔야 있나요? 마타바셈데 히나 원내 전에 다 취시기를 라이르스.
Il est dit que
It is said that if we know impermanence, our practice will go in the right way. it's on the basis of understanding impermanence that we will really become a true Dharma practitioner.
Ngazo tengi jures, matapa ngi shigi tengi jures.
You may think that you already know what is impermanence.
Tene ngune tone matapa de hiyo na. Tene ta chudra gres. Chu shada danya tog madina. Chu shada daya to legi madina. Te matapa semte ya puchi mares. O china chudra ya la to ape legres. Te chudra ya la to shada legi madina. Matapa ikta ya puchi mares.
So you may think that you already know what is impermanence, but if you already knew what is impermanence, actually you would just practice Dharma all the time. You would be so interested and so inspired to practice Dharma all the time. And if it's not the case right now, it means that you don't really know what is impermanence.
Tela hakoya tela rambasan yares. Rambasan.
De manière générale.
So in a general way, in order to understand something, there are three kind of levels, 3 steps. So the first step to knowing something is by hearing it. When the teacher will tell us all phenomena are impermanent, so we will hear it, and that time we will understand that.
Yendi de remndi tane tapche cheni. Ko matapa yimbi jansen te kechi kan jawan rogundu de mandi tapche che. Dan jawan rogundi kala ata matapa resha sene tapche cheni salon tawni samba cheni matapa yimba hako res.
Then the second step is through thinking. You will think and reflect. Is it true? Is it really true? Are things really changing all the time or not? So you will think, reflect, and check by yourself. And that time, through thinking and reflecting, you can know whether it's true or not, and you will understand.
Est-ce que les choses cessent vraiment à chaque instant? Et donc nous allons réfléchir, contempler sur ce que nous avons entendu.
Chetsan ta de nimbo te ngazo tu sam gam ske onde tu ni hipata sam ni hipare de ni goni matapa hina yapona res yapores yena yo di tani chudya la toa te grete ha chong chenbo te an kalikawo yores ha chong ja chenbo toa mombo shu lewa te kalikawo yores.
So we can understand impermanence either by listening or by reflecting, but really understanding impermanence through these two may not be enough. It won't give it that much enthusiasm for practice. If we really want to engage in practice, we have to understand it through practice, through familiarization, through meditation.
Ta pasimti hina ta gamni ta mata pasimti ngune tone hisrena ta tne ngune tone ta mata hires.
If you're able to understand impermanence through meditation and cultivation, then you will really understand what is impermanence really deeply and truly.
Gamni ta soso nduji tsoma matapa soso tseyo matapa yembate kechima yembate hach ko sona gamni ta hakona tene ngone tone jathoya tuseya ma chudagres.
And if you really would understand that all phenomena are really impermanent, then you won't even take time to drink tea. You won't waste any second.
Chetsan te indikala ta tendi ka gamni matapa hisona tene ngone tone ko ngazu troach legi sare troach.
Et donc, c'est
And this is what will really happen. If you really understand what is impermanence, you will really get some interest and enthusiasm to practice, to do practice.
Roate kanri yemete su gamni hakogena dikhta hako samadu. Tani ngik ndrir hegena hisa maras.
So this is to say that true understanding will really come through meditation. Just by hearing it, like I'm saying now, you hear it, you listen to it, you will think about it. This is not enough. You really need to meditate, to cultivate that understanding by yourself. And that time, true enthusiasm will come.
Sheri ngamunde ngamu tsan samanya ke michila tingi ta ngamunde sana ta ngamunde ndi yer kecha shena khorshira ti tswalege maras.
It's the same as trying to describe to someone who has never eaten sugar what is sugar, what is the taste of sugar. You will describe it, but as the person never tries it, he will never really know.
Et là, c'est pareil ici.
Tene dehe jenkhe tinga ngamunde ndi disen dehe je gali kabu yoras.
And even for the person who is explaining what is sugar, it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult to say what it is, right, to someone who never tried. It's the same here.
Réaliser cela. En quoi cela consiste?
Tate yashu kare resena. Tene koron ke ngamut chi saga na tene twa hako yoras.
Et donc,
So what's the easiest or the best? It's just that that person tries the sugar. He just have to eat it by himself.
Tapa sene gauni hina ngi chilegi reseate. Ta soso chi gaungdo te chilegi saras.
donc,
So I'm just here making a short presentation. If you really understand what is impermanence, enthusiasm towards practice will really come. But you have to go along the way by yourself.
Ngazo tsendi ko ji shi ngupo yenare soso nong pena nechin jiten chech senchen hagora shen nechin jiten to soyo tapare nyamba nong che senchen to soyo tapa yensare nyambi sonante hyuchen bo yo ondekala de tsoma tapa yo mare matapare sene de tata ngaza tabu tajin nola de karesekr tan ti danga sende danga tinola tani di yewa tar leo da mas judu no ni tambo tieres.
So in order to remedy that strong grasping on the permanence of things, whether it's on the outside world or the inner, the sentient beings, methods are taught here in the chapter of impermanence. If we look in that chapter, there is all what is necessary to get rid of that grasping on impermanence, on permanence.
Inche tsama matapa kechi hinjin de grete ina yo ko yonja tsuk shegra was. Tri panjis na yonja tsuk shevre. Sheate ga penhi je uch shegre nyambi ko lotu tandi yores. Sheate yo tsuchi sheona yapoch shegre. Matapa sene kechi hinjin de grawa. Kechi hinjin de gre sene patte onde tene korong tene ata kechi hinjin de gre ina yo jisra yapo tsikon shegre tene lotu yores. Tati lotu doya chetla tene dene koi nimi semte yores.
With that reflection on impermanence, we understand that things will cease at every instant. An instant appears, ceases. Another appears, ceases. And then time we may think, oh yeah, the phenomenon will cease, but maybe when it will appear again, there will be something positive and good. But that kind of thought is an obstacle, is a wrong view. And in order to remedy that, the next chapter, chapter 5, is taught. on the wrong consequences of samsara, the suffering of samsara.
Koa nola, constant koa nola, leto nyamon tene shumika, constant koa nola yodebika, pumbunda sachi pumbunda so, tani sachi pumbu, sachi the samea, sachi pumbunda so te, tani donga chu donga ton, javi donga, chapan daje chu donga, sambo koranki, machake, manakenchi, yomares and soyores.
So in that chapter on the wrong and consequences of samsara and the defect of samsara, the following is said. Here when we talk about samsara, it's the three realms of samsara, the three areas of samsara. And it is said that in any of those where there is not a single true happiness, everything, all phenomena are contaminated and they all appear on the basis of disturbing emotions. They are only aggregate phenomena which are contaminated. There isn't a single phenomenon in samsara that is not working this way.
Kechik jipik chu, shevik chu in the sote, teni dunga sambo korankta macha kenchi yo mare se ondi, dunga samya, dunga sambo korank rede resta, dunga sambo. Pena ngazo chaga na, ani shetong ngazo pena ngo na cawa je tisu nagi doa, teso te pa dunga rapa re, dunga ngazo lasa hako resi.
So, in the three realms of samsara, all beings are experiencing suffering. They can experience three kinds of different sufferings. The first suffering is the suffering of suffering. The suffering as pain, for example, when we have a headache, when we have unpleasant feelings, when we are sick and all. This is the suffering of suffering.
Kali kashuch karere namju ngonso dewa sen chi ngonzo shedaya, tesola, ani dunga sen lagi yores, namju ngonso jiwi dunga sen lagi yores.
But the hardest to understand, that one was easy to understand, but the hardest to understand is what we actually see as happiness. It's the second kind of suffering, the suffering of change. We see things as happy, but they are said suffering because they will change.
Tene te yenda ngazo tata pumbo chendewa, pumbo ngawo. Pumbo ngawo ndo so kanga chaban daji khidanga resi, sonyo resi. Chaban daji dang.
So it is then presented the third suffering, which is the omnipresent suffering. And that suffering, because it's here, it will produce other sufferings. For example, we have the 5 aggregates, and the 5 aggregates by themselves are suffering, and because of that they will produce other suffering phenomena.
Sambo te, tene jeme le shuma rewe sena mare, jadu chen le shuma re, jadu chen kong re senda, tene ndika sala lindri semde, leochi ten re se, lindri semde leochi.
So this is what is taught in the chapter 5, the all-pervasive suffering, the suffering of change, and the suffering of suffering. And those suffering, what is their basis? Where do they come from? They come from actions. And this is when comes the chapter 6 on karma. Karma and its result. What is the relationship between those two?
Ndo chu du na, sabji che le to nyomo la teni, tan rio tange dunga sombo ti njongre sene, tatandi no ten res, lindri, sachi da sameni ya. Oh, tanda ndo chu du na, le to nyomo ni la teni, tenen rio tange konda, 고익 님이 가서 등하선 본데요. 디 등하선 보티 리토 녀몬 때네 숑와레 세네 디가서 린딕 레오노 마히에레스.
Ce chapitre sur le karma, qu'est-ce qu'il montre? Il montre
So the chapter on karma shows that those three kind of sufferings, all these bad consequences of samsara, appear on which basis? They appear on the basis of karma and disturbing emotions.
고익 님이 드니 린디 님보 레오 니테 드니 스피크 데와 스판 커선 코안데 데와레 냠비코 로톤데 디 로토티 님보트 마슨 바레스 단게
Sipedeva.
스피데와 단게 니그 시연 넘바 예여라임바 시연 동보허 님보테 마다바 히에서 정말 따바 있어요. 시연 님바테 스피크 데와렌데 스피 데와스는 하고서 스판 커선 코발라 데와레 테노 디 데와티 요 마레 세네 드니 고익 님이 레오지 디 고익 님이 레오나 등하선 히요 등하선 보허 제티카레스나 네 리트 레오지 와타트니 마히와레스.
So, as we have said, that chapter 4 on impermanence is an antidote to attachment to this life. And that chapter 5 is a remedy to thinking that there is happiness in the samsara and being attached to samsara's pleasure. So this is a remedy to that. So then in the chapter on the bad consequences of samsara, the different kind of suffering we can experiment are taught, and then how those suffering come, how they happen, because of karma, because of actions.
코안데 동하 거롱 이레스. 스판 카슨 코안데 등하 거롱 이레스. 다 데와 요 마레 세온데 다 등하라 예조니 다 혀와 소소지보다 대화 토약 제들라 랑랑 주선에나 되는 년퇴동 롱송지 공포 하고서 베나 스판 커선 코안데 동하레 세온데 디 등하텔라 쪼니 뽕안 본데로 시에니 되는 소소지보 혀와 다는데 테메글랑 되는 줄이거스 휴인양에 디르거스 다디 드니 디 년볼라 샴바도 니지 레오 심스너레스.
So the second defect we have is to think that there is happiness in the samsara. Actually, the samsara is of the nature of suffering. It's its very nature. And through that practice, we will understand that. But maybe through that practice, we may think, oh, I need peace. And this could be also a defect, to try to get peace only for yourself. And this is a reference to the enlightenment of Shravaka, of the basic vehicle, Hinayana. Trying to get enlightenment only for yourself. So then the chapter on loving kindness and compassion is a remedy to that, antidote to attachment to the pleasure of peace.
마음나 가르석 사톤 람스는 사이크 레오치 바들라 사크 레오치 바들라 드네 디 레오 몽보마테 컨세크트 손지 드비 타미히바 세지 디그니엔 보슨 바레스 손지 드비 타미히바 탈라 몽바스 디그니엔 보슨 요레스.
Et afin de remédier à ce troisième,
So in order to remedy to the third defect, which is trying to get enlightenment only for yourself, which is the basic vehicle, the chapter on loving kindness and compassion is taught. Thanks to loving kindness and compassion, we will get rid of that kind of defect, which is which the fruit is not the full enlightenment. Then there is the fourth defect we can have is not knowing the method of practice for achieving Buddhahood. So then chapter 8 is an antidote to that. Antidote to not knowing the method of practice for achieving Buddhahood. There is the chapter on developing enlightened mind, the paramitas, etc., and the bhumis, the pure grounds. And these are a remedy to not knowing the method of practice for achieving Buddhahood.
디 년부터 드네 레오 쭈니 레오 쭈니 스미레스.
Et donc,
So therefore, in total, there are 12 chapters to remedy that fourth defect, which is not knowing the method of practice for achieving Buddhahood. So there are 12 chapters in that part.
가르스 레오 쭈니스나 레오 디 쭈니 마레스 레오 쩌렌드스 레오 쭈. 쭈.
Oh, sorry, it's not 12, it's 10 chapters.
디 인디 디 인디 칼라 아니 셴 야라 셴 동보 세야 쳇 레오 찌. 셴 님바 세야 쳇 레오 니 레오 산도소. 셴 동보 세야 레오 찌. 셴 님바 세야 레오 니. 드네 셴 삼바 세야 레오 찌 레오 연도소. 셴 삼바 세야 레오 찌 요. 다 셴 여바 손지 드비 타 미히바 세지 티 미히바 파 년부터 레오 쩌 있어요레스 레오 쩌 다 건다 주기야 주기 14 야 레오 셴 동부 년부터 레오 찌 셴 님비 년부터 레오 니 셴 선비 레오 년부터 레오 찌 이신도요 다 셴 여비 년부터 레오 쩌 조조 주기 주기 있어요레스 셴 이게
So mathematics. So to remedy the first defect, which is attachment to this life, antidote to attachment to this life. So in that part we have only one chapter, the chapter on impermanence. Then as an antidote to attachment to samsara's pleasure, we have two chapters, the chapter on the suffering of samsara and the chapter on karma and its result. Then for the third defect, which the antidote is an antidote to attachment to the pleasure of peace, here we have also one chapter, the chapter on loving kindness and compassion. And then the fourth antidote to not knowing the method of practice for achieving Buddhahood, here we have 10 chapters. So the chapter on refuge and precepts, the chapter on the cultivation of bodhicitta, and etc. with the paramitas and all.
이 님부 레오 쩌기 송도와 레오 쩌기 때 성체 셈비 냠레레 대 냠슬렘발라 냠레 시니 니 사톤 람 런지 야 드그라 대 드알라 다니 데 람가 데 람치나 야템비 레오세네 람가 다니 레오치 사쩌 레오치 딘 레오니 데레스 전동라 레오치 두이레스
et ensuite, après, c'est
So after those 10 chapters, which is the remedy to the fourth defect, there is a presentation on the 5 Buddhist paths and the 10 Bodhisattva grounds, bhumis. So together it comes as 16 chapters, as we said before. So if we count on top of that the three preceding points, there is a chapter for Buddha nature, a chapter for the support, the precious human existence, a chapter for the spiritual friend, and then there are 16 chapters for methods. So here we come to 19.
땡들라 딕 땡들 레오 쩌그 땡들라 드니 시단 타마니 드니 데 류 접송지 거 드니 딕 트네 딕 트네 또미 딕 레오니 테레스타
Et donc, en tout,
닉자지 토토토 닉자지
So in total it comes to 21. So there are 19, but it comes to 21. Those are corresponding to... Okay, so now we came to chapter 19, which is the 10 Bodhisattva Bhumis. And then we have the part 5, which is the result, where are chapter 20 and 21, perfect Buddhahood. And the part 6 is the activities, which is about enlightened activities of the Buddha.
단도치 두가나 시단지 온데 시와나 시단 주 레오 첨부 주 농색 막다
Léo Chiempo,
시단 거 농색 온데 시네 레오 막 종가자가나 레오니 츠치 요레스
Et donc, si on fait un résumé de tout cela,
So in brief, we have 6 parts, 6 general parts, and we have 21 chapters, which are going in these big parts.
다다 젠데 타디 당아 세데 타 기위키니 당아 세야티나 농색 레오 몽보 저레스 다 레레 카스게 차오시에그나 가서 따따 뒤서 나오면 되지 근데 라라잔시나 건다 손지 드비혀 람데 데레스
So unfortunately, we have no time to go through all those chapters now. But the main thing is that those chapters are aimed for us to reach enlightenment. If we had to say what they talk about, they just talk about the way, the path to reach enlightenment.
우리는 시단 아바테 가르레스나 단 리우 손지 치거 세야 데레스
Et donc, le quatrième point,
And the fourth point is about the way to get enlightenment. And the fifth one is on the fruit, the true Buddhahood.
지금 단다 도도즈는 계자 시에가리나 단다 도도시는 계자 시에나스 리우 손지 치거 세야 데 드니 뽕왕 퍼선 쪼바 또반 퍼선 쪼바 다 데니 댄 손조 데라 드니 리우 손지 치거 신 라이어레스
donc ce cinquième,
So this fifth general point is on the perfect Buddhahood. Here it says in the text, it's the body of perfect Buddhahood. So if we had to briefly present this perfect Buddhahood, what is it? It would be abandoning, the perfect abandoning and the perfect knowledge. Or the perfect understanding.
뽕왕 퍼선 쪼바 세요인데 깔라 맞아 뽕자 데라 저거 두가나 녀모 비크 드바동 히지 그 드바스는 니히요레스 데니가 차선 뽕소나 뽕왕 퍼선 쪼바 스밀레르 그레스
donc, qu'est-ce qu'on entend par l'abandon parfait? L'abandon parfait, eh bien, c'est l'abandon de toutes les...
So what we mean here with the perfect abandoning means abandoning all the obscurations and veils, whether it is the affliction veil or the knowledge veil. When this is abandoned, here we can talk about perfect abandoning.
주젠도 주니니요
So,
추진 끄둑 차 소마
so.
쳔바 추녀 근데 추녀 니리왕 추녀 근데 추녀 니리크 차 용서 조바데 쳔 손에나 또바 파선 소바 셈데 레르게레스.
Qu'est-ce qu'on entend par la connaissance ou la compréhension parfaite? Eh bien,
And what do we hear in here with the perfect understanding? It means understanding perfectly all the phenomena, all the understanding of Niluk, of the way things are truly, knowing how phenomena truly are. And actually, we will know phenomena in their relatively and ultimately.
손지 스늘라이어레스.
Et donc, un individu qui possède un abandon parfait et une connaissance parfaite est appelé Bouddha.
tene ta ti tenze ko leo chi yore ta nonsi masuna yo mombo yores.
Et cet état, ce fruit qui est la parfaite bouddhéité, donc dans ce...
Sorry, I was saying that an individual who possesses those 2 points, which is the perfect abandoning and the perfect understanding, is called a Buddha.
So karase sonji ko ani tlente ma hebi ko leo chi tamat ten yores.
And so, having reached Buddhahood, one will get to the sixth part, activities, the enlightened activities, Chinle. So this is the last part of the book.
Ya ti chetong mombo hia yore te do chu du ga le na senchen yen la pen ta ya tres.
There is a lot to say about the activities, but if we had to say it briefly, we can just say it's about benefiting other sentient beings. In brief, Buddha's activity is just about accomplishing sentient beings' benefits.
Ke ja te mares. Dikas pen ta se ya te yo tawa ton tamche chenbi gompo le ya ka roya la pen ta se ya tanda te res.
So when we talk about benefiting other sentient beings, what does it mean? It's not a small benefit, it's not a small thing, it's about showing them the way, about helping them towards liberation, towards Buddhahood.
Te indi kala ta nga zo dino la karasek mombo cha son this confuse cha son mombo chi go na wo cha son this confuse ta leo mombo she this confuse cha son.
So you may get a little confused because all those parts and chapters, you may get a little bit confused.
Paraît confus pour vous.
Te ta te confuse ma cha yu che de tsuka dune dam je na demba yo cons je gres.
Et donc,
In order to not get confused, you can summarize those points on the Four Noble Truths, actually. We can also classify it according to the Four Noble Truths. They are included in the Four Noble Truths.
Te kare rese onde pena nga zo ani ta ti danga se ati nonsel ma leo mo chi yeso leo chidu yeso leo chidu no ni tombo leo tombo duji mata pa duji tangje mata pa to koi nimi yeso te nimbo te donga den bares.
donc ces 21 chapitres
So those 21 chapters are included in the Four Noble Truths. So in the first truth, the truth of suffering, chapter 4 and chapter 5 are included. So in the truth of suffering, we have the chapter 4 on impermanence and the chapter 5, the suffering of samsara.
Et le chapitre sur les mauvaises conséquences du samsara, ces deux chapitres eh bien, traitent de la vérité de la souffrance. Le chapitre sur l'impermanence et le chapitre sur les mauvaises conséquences du samsara traitent de l'impermanence, traitent de la vérité de la souffrance.
tene ta teni kha chamla tene lindi sem leo chinde was legendary lindi li tande usem chinde was ta tete ani demba yononi kunju demba sem rende us.
Également, dans
The chapter 6, which is karma and its result, goes to the truth of the cause of suffering. So we have 4 noble truths, right? Which are the truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, the truth of the path, and the truth of cessation. So if we try to make a comparison to understand better, Dhagpo Targyen's chapter 4 and 5 goes in the first truth, the truth of suffering, and chapter 6 goes in the truth of the cause of suffering, because it's explaining karma and its result, which are the cause of suffering. So after that, there is the chapter on love and compassion, and the 13 following chapters from chapter 7. So from chapter 7 to chapter 18 included the aspect of the 5 paths. This is the truth of the path.
근데 다만 리우 친다. 근데 리우 송지 찍고 왔습니다. 레오 대동 근데 트레인 레오 친다. 디 레오 님보테 덴바 이어노네 고피 덴바 레오 고피 덴바.
And then the last 2 chapters on perfect Buddhahood and activities of the Buddhas, which are the fruit and the activities, these go to the truth of cessation, the last noble truth. So these 2 chapters refer to the truth of cessation.
제가 다 덴바 이어노는 그 담지 지는데 때 싸우다 차여 주랬어. 때 싸우 그래 차여 주랬어.
So maybe if we classify it according to the 4 noble truths, maybe it's easier to understand and to remember.
다 데일리 츠 클래시나 데일리 츠 싸우시나 이어도 라 리우스한테 컨시드나 리사레스.
et si
If it's still not clear enough, we can classify them again in another way through the basis, the path, and the fruit. So these 21 chapters can be included in those 3.
다지노네 동보 전 대현 힘보 스멜 레오테 예이나 야레샤스.
donc
So among the 21 chapters, those included in the basis, this is the Buddha nature, the chapter 1 refers to the base. And then the next chapters, until the chapter 19, the 10 Bodhisattva Bhumis are the path, are the way to Buddhahood. So let's enter until chapter 19. So the next 18 coming chapters.
Sur la présentation des terres de Bodhisattva. Il y a 18 chapitres, et ces 18 chapitres correspondent au chemin.
tene tama ne driu sonji chikka te tong di chune ni bote tan driu na yare shase.
And then to finish with the fruit, the very fruit. So in this one we come chapter 20 and chapter 21, perfect Buddhahood and activities of the Buddha.
Chapitre sur le fruit, qui est la parfaite bouddhéité, et le 21e chapitre sur l'activité des Bouddhas.
Chetson ta ngazo tata leoni tsuchi karasegar demba yei namgya shine chikye na heyande tandu teli tsu du ni hena te yatan la driu sanji konsu du na hena yo heyande bisi.
Et donc, il est important de savoir
So it is important, in order to understand that treatise well, it's important to know that those 21 chapters are included in the Four Noble Truths and on the three divisions with path, basis, path, and fruit.
Gana tani gongza chi sonji bika chachen teresta. Gongza soso shiu chi sonji bika chachen teresta. Chachen sa tachen te. Tamchen. Sonji bika tachen. Da pe dudu za hienas. Dudu za hiena. Tani gongza chi sonji grawa. Ko sonji wa shepa la. Tani longja kare lengre, pongja kare pongres. Dini mo konsiena digres.
So, and in one classification, finally, what is it? It's all those chapters are about knowing how to reach enlightenment. What are the conditions to reach enlightenment? What is to be adopted and what is to be rejected? So these 21 chapters show what is to be abandoned and what is to be cultivated to become a Buddha. What are the conditions?
남겨 sama sana tonna te ngatsu ngone tone pendo chembo yores.
si on
If we think about this 21 chapter through the Four Noble Truths, it will be of a great benefit. It will be really useful.
E demba yoseo de kala pena kunju demba tong pena driu dengha demba ze kecha hieonde driu dengha demba te kone legire se driu dengha demba driu dengha demba te kone legire se oni dik jo kunju demba semji hiere deni mo jindri chachi res jotan driu chachi.
on va si on
If we look at those 21 chapters through the Four Noble Truths, we will see relationship of cause and effects. For example, there will be the fruit, which is the truth of suffering, and that fruit has its own cause, which is the origin of suffering. So we will see that is what is indicated in the chapters of origin of suffering. Oh, sorry. There will be a relationship between those cause and effects.
Du tabi jindri chires koa no ma kanri ko koa no ma konra ya.
Kandri korkires.
어, 저 건주 덴발라 때니 리오 스판 커선 코아노나 동하면 용도 된 코아노나 코비 그런 바치레스 차치 진리 차치.
En comprenant la relation qu'il existe entre
Understanding the relationship between the cause, which is the origin of suffering, and the fruit of suffering, we will understand all the process of samsara, how we endlessly roam in samsara. And this is, its origin is ignorance, actions, afflictions. And on that basis, all the world's existences are produced.
Riu gopi demba seate, gopi demba seate, kona teni yongre seyondi, je lomch demba la teni yongre sene, teni bo jandi chachi ten res.
And the fruit, which is so the fruit of that path is the truth of cessation. So the nirvana, the cessation, is a fruit, and the truth of the path is the cause. So the truth of suffering is the fruit, the the truth of suffering is the truth of the path is the cause, and the truth of cessation is the fruit. And it's the same with before. The truth of suffering is the fruit, and the truth of the cause of suffering is the cause. So, for example, if we were thinking, how will I obtain the cessation, which means actually put out, if we think that, we will understand that this depends on a way, on a practice. Through the path and the way in the practice, we will be able to get rid of samsara, to get out of the samsaric vision. We'll be able to go on the path and reach Buddhahood.
Ngazo tata Dhagpo Targyen tes, te tata ngazo tuse mombo shada mewa swa yansa, te duduch mato nroyo mares. Tata ngazo rapa zanchi xie de hit cao xin ma xin ro na, te ngune tone ngazo guya ha je segra, jinur. Ngazo guya jinur te ta Dhagpo Targyen no yores.
So now, unfortunately, we don't have much time to go through all the details of these 21 chapters. We've just tried to present the structure and the main important points of that treatise. But if we really go deep in that book, we will really acquire, we really get something very important, some richness, and it will be really like a jewel or richness to get enlightenment.
Ngazo sata mefnol pet ta na lojong shegra was.
Par exemple, si l'on souhaite aller en Inde,
For example, if we want to go to India, first we will study the map.
Tata Dhagpo Targyen no kare lojong shegira Tata ngazo deni ya sonji kompul ndrogo na countries ndrogo ta ti map ta yores.
And here, the Precious Ornament of Liberation is like a map. It will show us where we are, where is the goal, and how to go there. It will be really like a map.
nous y prendra. Eh bien, tout est indiqué dans ce traité.
Everything is taught in that treatise.
Yason no la country ndrogo de ti map te ondi don ta yores.
And it's also showing the map to go to the lower realms, such as hell, hellish existences. It's also showing the path to other existences or unhappiness.
Indiquer des régions défavorables, comme les mondes inférieurs. Et on trouve par exemple dans ce traité eh bien, une description des mondes inférieurs. Eh bien, c'est pour cela que ça ressemble un petit peu à une carte.
Tena ngazo tsama nyawan ndroya ndapa sachi yo mares.
However, none of us want to go to hell, obviously.
Tena ngazo tsama ndroya ndapa te sonji kompul ndroya ndapa tres.
And we may all wish to just attain enlightenment.
Ndrosa lam map te ta lojong hit cao ten sabo ne yapo che tena ta Dhagpo Targyen jong dres.
So if you can, or if you want to obtain enlightenment, you have to know the path very well. So through studying that treatise, the Precious Ornament of Liberation, you will really know deeply how to practice and how to get there.
다다 nga zonde tabu taji dam davchi. Dudi mato chaye mares. Te maung bala chena batsa de la teni yatsawo soso non pa. Soso non le chanare. Gawa le nare, gawa sona, gawa dena tabu taji yatsabo yabu jongya rewa yos.
So now we could just make a brief and short presentation of that treatise. If you want to know where you are on that map, it's important to study that text, and I hope you will be able to do that in the future.
다다 생휴 시에기였어.
Kirangi.
좋아 시에기였어.
Tadonsuna.
ngeyo tabu taji 다다라 야부 시다 시 말에 마음빨 쇼 야부 쳐야 로존시야 내가 yes.
And myself right now, I don't know the Dhagpo Targyen, that treatise that well, and I hope in the future I will be able to study it really deeply and to understand it very well.
그래서 때 마음빨 가서 처마 tabu 타지는 기바시니 근데 손지 공부를 야까 토야라 아니 말람 yes.
So I wish that in the future we will all be able to know and understand Dhagpo Targyen very well, and we will all be able, having become very knowledgeable about that treatise, to reach enlightenment.
Très bonne connaissance de ce traité. Eh bien, j'espère que je fais le souhait que nous obtenions tous l'éveil parfait.
제가 대인데 다다가 전데나 참 야네 드와이나 드와트네 시스.
So we will stop here for the presentation, and we have a few minutes left. If there are a few questions, you're welcome to ask them.
Sur la classification des 21 chapitres en 4 vérités, si j'ai bien suivi, il me semble que ont été nommés principalement.
So, on the classification on the 4 chapters on the 4 Noble Truths, can you repeat how you classify the first chapters of Precious Ornament of Liberation according to the 4 Noble Truths? If I understood well, the 4 Noble Truths are common to all schools, and then Buddha nature the Buddha nature is especially linked to a Mahayana vehicle. So I'm confused because the 4 Noble Truths presentation is more linked to Hinayana, and the Buddha nature presentation is more linked to Mahayana. So can you clarify that?
Jigme Rinpoche Sumba Khen Geweshinin Denpa Shila Kawaju
Teres. Te level jibo tes. Teni cha tsongwachi del progressini tadasawu yo mares. Yena yon pena je deva hepin himbo seate. Deva hepin himbo seate. Tata ngune nga zo ryu te yag mare te rich koni ti kono yan kres. Rich hakoso. Rich koni pena ryu konsi yana ryu res. Rich koni ya.
Shigi Goni Mare
Yisna.
Shilam de Gigo
Mare rich na hakoso. Pena nga zo mi tseni te mahi tango mi rich jawa yag dewa. Rich jawa mahi tango se. Teni pug chunchu tombo sheka lang pug chunchu chindewa. Di pug chunchu te mahi tango gumdewa. Ina mi rewa. Ina mi rich koni mi kons dundu re sigdewa. Sigdo, di nongin sheni, tata pena dewa hebi, nimbo sedeyate, tata koro ngunen riu tseni parong yaga yatag marete, di rich konsa, ani karsaga. Si riu ngopi dembandewa, di konsa yana rigi yores. Oh, rigi yores, di konsa yana rigi yores.
Kandre di gope dempala dugi yore.
Karasina, dewa hebi nimbo te, koro ngo te satong karasegr. Tene ye demani yoba, chubi ta tangche trawa, chunyi yon de kala, di kons tonan rigi yores.
Tene ye liu dampu chichi kore.
Ta te tombo ten rigi jochu.
On va prendre la première question. Donc,
So, the first 3 chapters are not included in the Four Noble Truths. For example, the first chapter, which is the cause, the nature. That first chapter could maybe be part of the truth of cessation or the truth of the fruit. Indeed, Buddha nature is more of the cause, of a cause nature, causal nature, since it's there forever and it doesn't depend on defilements, it's there forever, since always. So it can also be part of the fruit.
Ten malu renchen dewa. Tene ten malu renchen, chen giwi hi nyen semchi dewa. Ta te demba yono kana kawan dugur sera. Te lamch demba konsa yana rigi yores. Lang ngune te mare te, lang ngune shewa wala, zhu shewa songa yan zang. Lamch dembi konsa yana rigi yores.
ensuite, il y a le deuxième et le troisième.
Then there's the second and the third chapter on the precious human body and the condition that is the spiritual friend. Those can be included in the truth of the path. They own the path by themselves, but they allow the truth of the path to emerge, to develop. Therefore, they can be included in the truth of the path.
Yin senpa nimbo te chepa yores.
Alors,
Te konsa ya se, te yin se nimbo te. Tata Dhagpo Targyen te cha tsonga te demba yun konsa yana rigi tuyu sengi la yores.
en fait, ici, il y a une différence entre le fait que quelque chose est
So here there is a difference. There is a difference between something to be one of the Four Noble Truths or something belonging to one of the Four Noble Truths. So here, these things are not path and truth by themselves, but they belong to it.
Yina yon tachi chorong tata zhawa te pe nga te hali sonsi. Chara pesha yabu higi sares. Te baba tagar sares.
So I'm very happy for your question. I'm a little impressed. You might know text very well.
et la deuxième, c'est les Jewa Nipa Yores. Jewa Nipa des présidents d'Empachi des Drupta Tsama la Jogire d'Empachi. Que des Nampech Kare Inayan là.
Rere demba yon naga hiya
D'Empachi
yores.
Yores.
Demba yon naga hiya yores.
Inayan des gu de Shipenipode, des Tekchen qui Drupta la Yores. Tene Drupta Tsama la Jogimare, Tekchen Shipu.
Mara dewa hebi nimbo te tenchen jibo re te demba yon naga te chanta tsomar hiya yores. Dewa hebi nimbo te tenchen jibo higre demba yon naga te chanta tsomar hiya yores.
En ce qui concerne la deuxième,
So concerning your second question, Buddha nature is only taught actually in the great vehicle, but the Four Noble Truths are taught in both vehicles. They are common to all the school of thoughts. So Hinayana and Mahayana both tell about the Four Noble Truths. But the Buddha nature is only taught in the big vehicle, in the Mahayana.
Vérité, eux, même si c'est un terme du grand véhicule, les quatre vérités, elles, sont communes à toutes les écoles.
그래서 다다 이 드링인 드님 히에도 덴바 이어신 다단데 다보 타제데 덴바 이어신 그저 히에 온지 가서 드니 류 고비 덴바시아데 디카스히데 전타 이어 초마 키네그레 초마 데그레 텔라기에 말했어. 드링이 덴바 이어스히데 다보 타젠데 테바 쳔부 온시오나 덴바 이 나가 히안두스. 드니 셔동 테바 오마라고 덴바 이 나가 히아요스 코론스 히아요스. 코론소라 덴바기 나가 히아요레스.
다동 소나 디그레베.
네. 지렌다. 다당이 덴바이어스 라임바. 다다 덴바이어 라야테 다보 타진노 레오니 크자지테 덴바이어 콘스트니 히아두스. 티 덴바이어오테 테바 고미 온드시네. 여야신 히아요레스. 근데 테바 오마테서라 코론소요 덴바이어 나가 히아요레스.
So what I did here is that I explain how the chapters of the Precious Ornament of Liberation can be understood as the Four Noble Truths, as being part of the Four Noble Truths, classified in the way of the Four Noble Truths. But the Four Noble Truths, as they are taught in the small vehicle, are taught a bit differently. They have their own way to teach it. The more we go on the path, the more we are aware of suffering, of our own suffering, of others' suffering. And there is like an emergency in our mind, some kind of impatience to realize a state that will come us. So for that, I would like to know what kind of mindset we should have.
Amagidi dunia yopa akogi yores dunia mampu tongi yores tene ditonetes ani de nyamnen jigores midus inayan de amagidi katwina de tene dunia tongi yores tene chichina de semkyu chagi yosare tene dikatsu kanal jigosare semkyu kyo chagi yores
다 되나 데려와 동암 뭐 통구되나 대 뽀야라 탑 뒤도 문디 딱 그래서 대 뽀야라 탑 되나 뽕거야랬어 대 문디나 동아신 탑대 뽀야라 탑자니 문디나 아니 다 소소로 지 셈바 마데와시나 초요 말했어 그나 희와라 학생이랬어 근데 주가 제야 젠시야 되나 젠시쇼스 셈바 마데와 더마데스 젠시야 문드나 된 셈바 마데와 시 데드나 펜토고 말했어 그래서 등하 몸보 통대 가르스가
미션 발라 두니엘만 보통 게래 미션 발라 두니엘만 보통 게래
알 아마고 되네
네 아마기 데 미션 바톤에 두니엘만 보통 게래스 어디 semkyo chagiores
알레네 데 라임바 다 아마 모르겠다 그래 뭐 얌바기 등하 몸보 통소나 되네 센조야 돼 마제와시네 등하들 따니 고 니제 티 등하들 매바차나 좀 마르선에 니제시나 되네 그래서 소소를 개와요레스
we see suffering, other beings suffering, there are two aspects to consider. The first aspect is to see whether we have or not a method to get rid of our sadness, seeing others like that. Do we have something we can do? Is there anything we can do? However, we shouldn't be too disturbed with that. Shantideva used to say, when there is a suffering or a problem, to worry too much is not useful. If there is a solution, there is no need to worry, and if there is no solution, there is no need to worry neither. So keep that kind of attitude when you have to face problems. So then the second aspect is to develop compassion, wish these beings to be free of suffering, that you could help them to get free of suffering, and wish that one day you'll be able to liberate them.
쇼진이 빼야버렸대.
Mais cependant,
However, the fact of being able to see others suffering and being sad of that is a good sign, says Kambula.
근데 센조인데 조비 깔라. 다 소소jel라 니지시야호. 고츠도 차기랬어.
It's a good sign. It means that you're starting to get compassion for those beings, and it's the path to develop compassion.
가제토노야 소아코노야 마스 데드보레스.
Some people, how much suffering they see, however much suffering they see, they have no feeling, they don't feel anything.
제산테인데 다 센제이엔 등한 토나 tani sen madewa te yapore ina yo sen madewa chipo zo dedena ani pento yo mare te niji shegresta niji ya shede te practice.
So when you see others suffering, you will feel sad. So that is good, but don't stay just in that sadness. It won't be useful. You have to develop compassion. So once we have seen the suffering, we got sad, we have to use that sadness for practice and to develop compassion. Do you have questions? If you don't, we may need to have lunch now.
Khenpo.
Est-ce qu'on peut résumer et dire simplement que le remède à l'ignorance, c'est la conscience?
Can we sum up all your teachings saying that the remedy to ignorance is consciousness?
Dordu jena tene marikpa kinyempo kandreina jijena di rempa dans shishin raborepe.
Maripa nyembo dameto pishirares didishena.
En résumé, l'antidote à l'ignorance, c'est le discernement qui comprend l'absence de soi, qui comprend l'absence d'identité des phénomènes. C'est cela le vrai antidote.
The antidote to ignorance is the discernment that knows the selflessness of phenomena. That is the true antidote.
Et si on
So if you accomplish your practice in the right way, you will be able to abandon ignorance. If you abandon ignorance, all others' affliction will disappear. So Dhagpo Targyen, so means the wisdom that knows the selflessness of phenomena.
Voilà, j'aurais souhaité comprendre ce que l'on entend par rapport direct dans le cadre de la relation maître à disciple. Et ensuite, est-ce que quand on a une dévotion sincère pour des maîtres décédés, qu'on suit leurs instructions au mieux, est-ce que c'est déjà un lien de maître à disciple ou encore un lien?
So when we, what it means to have a direct relationship with a master, and when we follow the instructions of a master who already passed away, is it like really following him?
Drewa te lomi ke lamalaya ka depasya chunya lami ki chunya lami ke lomala ka ani londur ni heba pembi saba kan londe londur ni heba teni chuj gona yamak drewa chana drewa yapores o tate chu drewa ra chu drewa ti drewa kores.
Pour le premier aspect de la question,
For the first aspect of your question, the link between Lama and his student is a Dharma connection. So the student will have confidence, he will understand the teachings of the Lama, and the Lama will teach to the student what is to be adopted and what is to be rejected.
Digin drewa te kurma. Yamba drewa yo mena teres.
Et donc voilà, le lien, c'est...
So the link is the connection is a Dharma connection. The student will trust the Lama, he will listen his teachings, and the Lama will teach him what is to be adopted and rejected. And what is important is that the Lama really has this sincere intention to benefit his students. This is a true Dharma connection, true Dharma link. And if it's not that kind of connection, then you may wonder about it.
Tate drewa tagarores. Lami sun waji de chorong nyamle shigda. Lama kini hietsa na chin drewa de diores. Pena ngazu songji jamde dir tatan drewa de diores. Songji jamde ni kini hiena lo mombon ro tsare kong sun waji de la ngazu lo jong shen nyamle shigers. Ngazu drewa de diores.
So for the second part of your question, when we follow the instructions of a Lama who passed away, can we talk about keeping the link or the connection? So it's like that if we practice the instructions of our Lama, this is the very link. We can talk about this is Lama, but this is also what we do with the Buddha. We study what he taught. So we actually get a link with the Buddha. Okay, so time's up. We'll stop here for today. Let's go for lunch. Enjoy your lunch.
Sanande tangje ziba ni tana nyebe dana pas shiga nanji balon chuba ya sipi chole doa sho.